Hello, family. I'm back again. Did you miss me? Because I missed you. Today is February the 7th. We have a fantastic guest today. Maurice Evans, former NBA player, also played at University of Texas, Wichita State. He's going to give us a little bio of where he's from and what he's doing now. He is a representative for NBA retired players, and I'm not going to touch too much of that because I'm going to let Mr. Evans handle that. But before we get started, I want you guys to do what you always do for me. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, smash that bell, because what happens is it notifies you when we have a new show. For instance, I had the show on Coach Dishman the last time, the new coach at Texas Southern University. And one of my guys said that he didn't get it. I said, did you subscribe? And he said, yes, I did. I said, well, you should have gotten it if you hit that bell for sure. Make sure your notifications are on like every other week or so, because that's when the show drops, so you can get notification of the new show. But anyway, one more time, thank you so much for watching the show, elevating my viewership and subscriptions. I really appreciate it. Keep it up. We're almost to the point where we want to be, and I am hoping that the show gets out continuously as it has so far. So thank you for that, and one more time, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell. Also, before we get started, let me move this chair a minute. For a minute, my producer's probably going to slap me because he had it set up perfectly. But anyway, I got to sell some merchandise, Shaylen. We got T-shirts here, Sports Talk with Fat Larry. We got hoodies, Sports Talk with Fat Larry. I'll have to get you another one of these. I'm showing one of the viewers that's already ordered these. So, but anyway, we got hoodies and we got T-shirts. Contact me at fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com, and let me know what your size is, what color you want, and we'll get you taken care of. And down below, as I always tell people, write a comment of what you think about this show, about the guests, and who you might like. You know, don't ask me nothing crazy. I can't get LeBron. So just ask me who in the local area you think we might could talk to. Like this gentleman here was brought to me by someone else, letting me know, hey man, did you know you had the NBA retired players official here in Houston? I did not know, and you know I'm a junkie, so here he is today. One more time, we're going to have Maurice Evans of the NBA Retired Players Association of Houston, Texas, and he's going to correct me where I fell short at. Let's welcome Mr. Evans to the show. How you doing, Maurice?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you. Thank you, Fat Larry, for having me in your home, having me in your set. Look forward to having a great show today. And just to make those distinctions, as you were saying, I am the president of the NBRPA. So anybody wants to know what NBRPA is?
Let us know why you got it going. I'll get into my segment in a moment. We're going to go home while we got Mr. Evans rolling. We're going to let him keep rolling.
All right.
Okay.
So NBRPA.
Hold on. Excuse me, family.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and start, after you finish your explanation about the NPR or whatever that was you were saying, go into your bio. Okay?
Sure. So the NBRPA, for those of you that don't know, is the National Basketball Retired Players Association. Anybody that plays in the NBA, those acronyms, National Basketball Association, is going to one day be retired. I played 11 years. I played 9 years in the NBA, 2 years in Europe, which is also known as FIBA, Federal International Basketball Association.
Never knew what that was.
So just so everybody knows. But long story short, anybody that plays in the NBA, anybody that touches it for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, however long, they are then the Retired Players Association. And there's also two factions. There's the NBA and there's the NBPA, National Basketball Players Association. I served 4 years as the vice president there. That's who negotiates the collective bargaining agreement, CBA. So that's the last acronym I throw out. But CBA is significant because that's what governs how the players are paid. So the average salary of the second contract for an NBA right now is over $10 million.
What? So, say that again. What? Say that, go over that again?
So the average salary of second contracts is now, matter of fact, the average salary for the NBA players is now over $10 million. And so that's significant because the players are guaranteed $50 billion over the next 7 years.
How?
Anybody who was in the NBA, they will be paid through exceptions, paid through contracts. That's why you see someone like Jaylen Brown, a 5-year, $304 million contract. So I, in 2011, was the only player who was involved in every aspect of those labor negotiations. Derek Fisher was then the president of the NBPA. He was of the executive committee. Billy Hunter, who again, if you want to go back into HBCU history and all the different things, even though he went to Syracuse and you talk about black rights and sports, he's a major historical figure there. He's already been awarded a lifetime NAACP award.
Okay.
That he led us. He was the executive director of the NBPA for 18 years, negotiated 4 collective bargaining agreements with David Stern, the then founder.
Okay. Now, for the listening audience, because I'm going to do it like Denzel says sometime in this movie. Now, tell me like I'm a 6-year-old. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I heard you say the NBA Players Association, that's for current, right? Players that's playing now.
Correct.
And what you're representing is what now? What are the acronyms for that?
NBA Players Association is the union.
Okay.
Is basically what it is.
It's the
To
union.
make sure that the players' rights are not being violated, make sure that they're being paid according to contracts, things of that nature. Well, once those players retire, because they govern and support current players. So then who supports retired players?
Right.
The Michael Jordans, Hakeem Olajuwons, Clyde Drexlers, anybody like myself, anybody who's touched that league. I do. We do. NBRPA. And then we have chapters. So I'm the president of the Houston chapter.
Okay.
We have 11 other chapters around the country. The Houston chapter is the largest. We're comprised of WNBA, NBA, ABA, and the Harlem Globetrotters. All of those different factions.
What you say? WNBA and the Harlem Globetrotters.
Correct. So that's what comprises of who we are. But quickly, my bio, you asked me about, I came by way of Wichita, Kansas. I was born and raised there. Okay. I went to Wichita Collegiate High School, a major college preparatory school. I was 2-time player of the year in that state. I was a Gatorade basketball player of the year, and I was a state champion my junior year. I was heavily recruited by a lot of schools around the country. Was blessed to, I chose Wichita State because I'm a very deep-rooted family man, and I have great support from my entire family. My parents have been blessed, been married for 47 years. I wanted to stay there and play ball where my family could continue to see me play and support. And it didn't go quite as I expected as a young man, quite as life rarely does. But I did have great individual success while I was there. I found myself leading the country in scoring as a sophomore. Ended up finishing top 10 in that year in scoring.
Say that again. You led the conference and you led the nation, not the conference.
Yeah, the nation.
And scoring. Who was one of the guys up underneath you in scoring? So family, you can get an idea of how great this guy's talent was at that particular time. Who was the second scorer? If you can remember anybody underneath you.
So I don't remember who other national scorers were. However,
who were playing with you at that time? I can almost tell.
We talking about Wichita State,
right?
So
when you won the scoring title.
Well, I didn't win the scoring title. I was just, as I said, was leading the country in scoring. I did finish in the top 10. I did finish leading, and I did finish leading that conference, Missouri Valley Conference at the time, in scoring. I'm the only player in the history of the conference to lead the conference scoring and not make all first team, all conference. So that's a whole nother political matter. But my point being, as I transferred from there. I went to University of Texas at Austin.
Okay.
So Rick Barnes was my then coach. He recruited me away. I actually entered into the NBA draft, but I was advised not to go into the NBA draft. I was advised to go to college another year. We didn't have a transfer portal back then for all of you sports fans. Mm-hmm. So the penalty was you have to sit out a year. Mm-hmm. And I sat out a year. I then played at UT. I then led, at that time, I was the leading scorer at the University of Texas. I led us in scoring, 3-point percentages, school wins that year. And then I said for sure, I told Coach Barnes, I ain't staying in college again. And so I left. And I ended up being projected, between the 15th pick and the 25th pick was my NBA projection in the first round. But again, life has its curveballs. I ended up going undrafted, but I still was blessed to play 11 years. And I think.
Stop right there. I know I'm interrupting you here, but I want my listening audience, for anybody that's listening, to understand that you don't have to be a 5-star. You don't have to be the number 1, the number 2, or the number 3 draft pick, because number 1 draft pick, they have duds every year that they choose, because no one can see what's in your heart. This guy is a perfect example of not being pissed to the point where he's going to say, I'm going to just give this up. What did you do after going undrafted?
So after I went undrafted, I remember I took my moment, because any of us, we have to cope and process what took place. And so I was blessed, as I said, to have my parents. We had a draft party that night. And I did. I was disappointed. I shed a few tears on the curb that night. But I was, my father came out and gave me a hug, told me he was going to work out. We went to the gym. We prayed that morning. We went to the gym and we got back to it. And sure enough, I signed the deal. I want to say maybe less than 3 weeks later, found myself on the team. And, so that's another story. But, I've been blessed. And so many, just like HBCUs, a lot of times we're undervalued, underexposed, and a lot of people don't understand the value of the history and value the history of the game, value of support. So many of us come from fatherless environments.
Right.
Again, I was blessed to have a father, even though he didn't play professional sports and all of that. My parents didn't get college degrees. And so they instilled in us that they wanted us to be better than them.
Hard working people.
And so, it's the same thing for us is that, man, you want to take advantage of the opportunities. And so here I am now trying to pay it forward as a president of the NBRPA. And that's only one opportunity that God has bestowed to me. The other is I'm still a certified sports agent. Why those acronyms we talk about? Because the NBA Players Association is who certifies agents. You have to take a test to be able to be certified and then represent and negotiate contracts on behalf of players.
Do you have any players under your wing right now?
Yes, so we got AJ Green is one of the players. Matter of fact, Joseph Young is one of the young fellas. He came out of here, went to Yates High School.
Right.
He's playing overseas right now. We actually, I just partnered with another sports group called Promondo Sports Group. We just signed a kid, Hugo Gonzalez. He's projected top 6 right now. It'll probably go up, but top 6 for the 2025 draft. We have Rocco Siskarski. He's projected first round. And then we got a number of top players right now that we're recruiting prospects. And so why that's significant for me is because all the expertise and experience that I bring in as a president of the NBRPA, as a former player, as a vice president, I have partners who are also equally as talented. And they always say, the hashtag for us right now for the NBRPA for this year is Better Together. And so just while I'm here wanting to support Fat Larry's, sports talk, we got to come together to support each other so that people truly understand the value of what we're doing, because the sum of the parts is always greater than the individual.
There you go. Now, give us a little bio on your family.
Sure. So for me, I came by way of Houston because, again, that's similar to the Hakeem Olajuwon story you talked about when I touched down in Austin, Texas, and it was January and people was in tank tops and white beaters, and I said, this is the place for me. I can make this work. And I have not gone back to live in Kansas ever since. I did make a few different stops because in my 11 years, I played for 9 different teams. So that was a journey in and of itself. And especially given that I signed 2 long-term deals. I signed 2 3-year contracts, multi-year deals. And I actually signed 3 multi-year deals. And so to either get traded I got traded 3 times. And so a lot of times people don't understand how sports truly works, because it's not just getting traded for underperforming. You can also get traded if you outperform. Okay. And so a lot of times I would outperform my contract. And because now if I'm on a contract that says this player is making hypothetically $1.5 million and they're about to become an unrestricted free agent with full bird rights, now a team has to pay you. And if they don't want to pay you, because say I'm 27 and there's another prospect who's 24 who's on our roster as well, that they feel like they can suppress his value and pay him, now, they will let you go. The difference is, for us, one of the biggest caveats that sees players making so much money is that we negotiated one singular clause in the collective bargaining agreement that the Major League Baseball doesn't have, that NFL doesn't have, that hockey doesn't have. The distinguishing competitive advantage we have in the NBA. Obviously, all the contracts are guaranteed, similar to baseball, but each team has to spend 90% of the salary cap.
Oh, okay.
So if that salary cap is $100 million, each team has to be at $90 million.
Okay.
$120 million, each team is spending $108 million. That's why you see a team like Charlotte Hornets, who don't have no chance, and to win no championship or even be competitive to make the playoffs. That team is still having to pay its players $112 million, $108 million.
I don't understand that, Mo, why they would not go out and spend it on players that could take them to the next level versus having to be forced because they don't want to pay it. But like you say, the rules say you got to pay it some kind of way. Did I determine that right?
Just like you just said with Denzel Washington. Explain it. Okay, I'm going to explain it. Here's why. In the past, teams would suppress their salary cap. So if the Charlotte Hornets of the past said, man, we don't have the Michael Jordan, We don't have a Magic Johnson. We don't have a Larry Bird. We don't have a LeBron James for those younger audience on our team. So what we're going to do is suppress the salary cap. We're going to pay $30 million. We're going to have one star making maybe 10. Everybody else going to be making $1-2 million. And you're going to have a LeBron James that's getting paid $30-40 million himself because the team that has a chance to win, like the Lakers, says, we'll pay 120. We'll pay Anthony Davis $30 million. We'll pay LeBron $30 million. We'll pay D'Angelo Russell $10 million and so forth on, and they space it out and they have a more competitive team. And so the difference is now you can't hide. You can't lay back in the weeds. Now it says, how good is your general manager? How well are you assessing skills and talent and cultivating talent and building a winning team? That's what now the chips let them lay where they are.
You explained that perfectly because now you have separated teams that have good front office people now because what you're saying, they all have to spend this money. And so I don't understand why a team stays in the cellar if he's spending the same amount of money the Knicks are spending or the Lakers are spending, the Bucks are spending. It's got to be front office decisions going on that's causing that to have carry. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir. They wanted parity. So if everybody has equal opportunity to win, you got parity. So the NFL, they do it a little differently. They say we're going to give you parity by giving you a hard cap. Meaning everybody has $200 million. You can't go over this number no matter what. So if you want your Patrick Mahomes to be making $50-60 million, then that means it's going to come at the cost. Okay. Opportunity cost. The more you pay this person, the less you can pay that person. NBA is different. You got to spend that minimum, that 90% of the salary cap, but you can still go up. So if you want to overspend beyond that number and say, man, I believe in my team, I want to spend, they can. Mm-hmm. But now no longer can you just sit back and suppress your salary cap. Okay. So that gives you a little education on some of the stuff that we do.
Now your wife and how many kids you have?
So we have 5 kids. My wife is Drew Evans. She is the daughter of Esther Bernard. She owns Esther's Cajun Cafe, actually at TSU.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time. Your wife is a TSU alum. I wasn't aware of that, family.
So my wife is not, but my mother-in-law is. So my mother-in-law was a majorette at TSU. She, she's Esther Bernard. If y'all haven't had Esther's Cajun Cafe and Soul Food on 5007 North Shepherd, y'all missing out. Because, again, she's the owner of that.
Say it slow and tell us what she offers and what's going on and where it's at.
Sure. It's Esther's Cajun Cafe and Soul Food. Mm-hmm. It's on 5007 North Shepherd. Okay. It's Esther. She's a majorette. She was a former majorette. They go back every year and participate in the parade. Right. A lot of people know who she is because she's one of the top soul food restaurants in the city. And they just, expanded their footprint, moved to the Shepherd location. My wife actually did all the interior design. It's a beautiful location.
Is it close to I-10 or Memorial?
It's right off Shepherd. It's more like I-10 and Shepherd. Okay. 610 and Shepherd is the closest proximity and way to get there. And then if you take I-10, you just take Shepherd and then you just go north for about 10 minutes. But they got oxtails, they got they got catfish, they got pepper steak, pork chops, they got healthy items as well, but the yams, the greens, the mac and cheese, all of the food that I love about it is that it's cooked fresh every day. Wow. So that's the thing that makes them,
you get my producer over there a little long, that's the first thing he do when he leave here, go eat.
Yeah, man. Nah, the thing is that, again, in our history, in our culture, eating is something that brings us all together. Okay. And, we started off, obviously, cooking those meals as a resort of just survival. That because we as Black people, we swag out everything we do. And so now that we were able to make that food appealing and taste so good, it turned into an art form for us. So my mother-in-law has really mastered that skill there. And, we regularly bring our clients there. We host events there and do things like that. So you might want to hold you a Fat Larry's sports talk
I already got that on the back of my mind. I got to go sample something over there.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm certified as a bartender. I love to come in there and host and invite some of you great, HBCU, TSU alumni out to hear Fat Larry live, and we can get that thing jumping off, man.
You sure can get it set up, and Fat Larry will definitely broadcast from there for you. All right, I got you. And I'll contact my producer over there. Now you got to put a limit on him on what he can eat.
Yeah.
Now mine, you ain't got to worry one plate to do me, but you got to put a limit on him.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put a plug. I'm gonna go ahead and put a plug in. Shaylen has been an awesome producer for us. He actually shot my wife's show, The Flow, in partnership with the Believe It Network, Carrie Douglas. So Carrie's been doing some amazing things with the Believe It Network. And, again, better together, man. That's what we are. So us elevating and supporting each other. This is not something that we is new to us. We understand that in order for us to reach our fullest potential, we can't do it by ourselves.
I got you. Question. A lot of times you see what the average salary is, what you said. My cousin was also a junkie, basketball junkie. Isn't there an average for players that's just on the team, like free agents that barely make? What's that average, like $600,000, $1 million a year?
So you mean like the minimum?
Minimum,
Minimums have been raised now, so the minimum is over $1 million for a player. And
so
it's
if you
also,
just make the team, you're making $1 million.
Yes, and then you also, for veterans, it increases. So a veteran, for example, who has been in the league for 10 years or 9 years, their minimum is like $3 million. Okay. If a veteran is like in the league for, say, 3, 4, 5 years, and it increases gradually to $2 million or $1.8 million. Okay. But when I came into the league in 2001, the minimum was $332,000.
I knew it was lower,
and it continues to now scale. So even for myself, I played on the mid-level exception. Is one of the exceptions. I played on that for 6 years of my career. That mid-level exception was $5 million, and what they can do is they can split it between multiple players. So the 6 years I split it equally with the other players. Mm-hmm. And so the thing was, though, if I would just did that now, the mid-level exception is over $14 million. That would have been $84 million. It just shows you. And I just retired. I retired in 2013. So it wasn't like I retired 25 years ago. So to be able to have a hand in being a key contributor and a key negotiator, I often ask myself, God, like, why was it that I was a part of that if I wasn't going to quite experience that in a way for myself and my personal contracts? But it was because God gave me some insight and some mentors and some individuals who really helped me to better understand how to help. And that's what helps me in my role as an NBRPA, helping players transition out of the game. It also helps me as a sports agent in helping to represent talent, because the biggest challenge we all have, and this is in any thing we do in life, is that we don't always make informed decisions. Mm-hmm. And so it's important to have the right information to understand why it is we're making decisions we're making, whether it's to attend a HBCU, if it's to choose the major that we're going to have, if it's to choose the person that we're going to marry, making informed decisions, it makes a difference.
For sure. Question again. Now, the European League, I can remember 20 years ago, when Michael Young, Joe Young's dad, set the pace over in Europe for $1 million. He was one of the first ones to get $1 million. What are the minimum, lowest you think, and what's the most you might could get paid over in Europe, Greece, Rome, and that type of thing?
So Europe doesn't have a collective bargaining agreement in the way that we do, because I played 2 years in Europe. I played my first year in Minnesota, then I played my next 2 in Europe, and I played the rest of my career in the NBA. But in those 2 years, I played for the same team that Michael Young played for, Olympiacos in Greece. Mm-hmm. The next year, I played for Benetton Treviso in Italy, where Ettore Messina, he was the associate head coach recently for Greg Popovich in San Antonio, was my coach. Right. I was the player of the year there in Europe. Okay. And being the player of the year and MVP of the All-Star game, all those different things, that increased my value. I was making $200,000 that year. This is back in 200,000. This is back in 2004. And the next offer I got was like $1.2 million. But some players started breaking the bank. The player who replaced me there at Olympiacos, he ended up getting a 3-year, $21 million deal. Wow. And so that was Josh Childress, came from Stanford, played there. Right. And so the point is, we've continued to press and push the boundaries of what we're able to pay because of capitalism and things like that, obviously supply and demand. But for players like that, it's really the difference in FIBA is that a lot of those teams don't honor the contracts. Here in the NBA, contract is guaranteed. That's why you have an NBA Players Association to make sure they're being paid, even if you get a player that gets in trouble. You got a Henry Ruggs who ended up, unfortunately, getting in trouble for the Oakland Raiders, right?
Still got his money.
But the point is, you got people like that will protect those players and make sure that they at least get what they're supposed to get, is what I'm saying. And when Europe, we don't have that protection. So
FIBA could actually tell a player, I'm going to pay you $100,000 for this season, and decide after they done got to $30,000, we don't want you no more. They can do that?
Yeah, so it's not so much FIBA, because FIBA is the team can sign you to a contract, which I got signed to a contract that wasn't honored when I played in Olympiacos. They didn't pay me the last 3 months of my deal. And so there was nothing I could do. But then you fast forward in 2008, when I was, I just come off of playing with the Orlando Magic, and I had the best year statistically of my career. I was a free agent, unrestricted, so I could sign with anybody. And I remember my agent setting up a meeting, and sure enough, he said, "Man, we got options in the NBA, but we got some of those European teams that really want to bring you back, and they got a lot of money that they want to offer you." Well, the person I sat down with one of the first meetings was the general manager for the Olympiacos team
that didn't
pay me the first time.
Right,
He's the same person that paid Josh Childers.
Right.
So I was sitting here saying, like, y'all couldn't just y'all don't pay this man $21 million, and all I was saying is all I wanted to little $70,000, $75,000 that y'all owe me.
Oh.
But anyway, sometimes again, it's like my mom, my grandma used to say, sometimes you pay somebody to get out your life.
Right.
If it costs $75,000 and I have to deal with those people, it was money well spent. You know
I'm sure you didn't deal with them.
I didn't deal with them. I went back to the NBA where God blessed me to get significantly more than what I would have gotten sitting there trying to play for them.
Okay, one more question in regards to that, to your, now I'm asking them things that some people may be thinking of, because like I said, I was telling my cousin last night what we're going to do. And retirement, I've heard so many things. I was told that I think the NBA has the best retirement. Their players start getting retirement, at 50 something?
So we have 3 phases. So you can get it at 45, which I just turned 45 in November. You can start taking your retirement at 50 or at 62. Those are the only 3 options.
Okay,
45 is still considered early retirement.
You better believe it. 50 is considered early.
They actually just changed the law, but under our pension benefits plan, 50 wasn't early retirement. It was considered normal retirement.
Okay.
62 was considered, I don't want to know if you want to say late or whatever, but they incentivize you more. The longer you wait, the more money you get. And so they give us, which is a really great pension plan, you get money, you get a plan A and a plan B. So you can either take a lump sum and then you get another portion for the rest of your life. And then if you pass away, your spouse gets it for the rest of her life till she dies. And if you, or you can just take a straight, annuity that you get every monthly. And if you don't take the lump sum, then you get a healthy annuity per month until you die. And then your spouse would get that until she dies.
Almost like a pension, okay?
Yeah.
It is a pension.
It is a pension,
like a regular pension. Okay. Now, with that in mind, talking about basketball, family, what I'm going to do is go right off into, Mr. Evans had already told me that, hey, I don't mind standing and talking sports with you, so that's what we're going to do.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, NBA, let's start with something you know about. The NBA. I got the top 3 teams out of each conference, then we're going to go with, ain't forgot about Super Bowl. We're going to go with the teams that I think going to reach the finals of the NBA, and then we're going to see what Mr. Evans has to say. All right, going in the East, we got Boston. Top 3 teams is what I generally do. In the Atlantic Division, Boston, New York, Philadelphia. I think Boston coming out of there.
I would agree.
Okay. In the Central, we got Cleveland. I didn't even know Cleveland's record was the same as Bucks. Cleveland's 32-16, and the Bucks 33-18, and they got Indy in 3. I got still the Bucks coming out of that.
I got the Bucks. Doc Rivers, Giannis.
Yes. Okay. Then the third one, we got the Heat in the Southeast. Now the Heat, I don't know. It's only been a few times, basically, when Dwayne Wade, Bosh, and LeBron was there, that they were always heavy in the standings initially. But here lately, they generally don't start percolating to the end of the season. I got the Heat is at number 1, Orlando and Atlanta. I got the Heat coming out of that.
Most definitely. The other 2 teams are still young and still trying to find their identity.
I got you. Okay. And then in the West, in the Pacific, you got to look out for those Clippers, man. We've been saying it for 3 years. It looked like they finally got their mojo. They looked like they was missing the beard. James Harden, they try to say all he can do is score, but when you have a reputation, all you can do is score more. If you have the will and the ability to pass the ball, people are going to be open. And that's what's happening now. I saw Paul, they were behind somewhere, and James was driving. Every time he drive, either Paul or Kawhi was over in the corner standing wide open. That's the beauty of what James Harden does. They say he can't do it. James Harden led the league in assists a couple of years. Mm-hmm. So they don't think that he can assist the ball. But in the Pacific, they got the Clippers, Sacramento, the Suns, who I, in the beginning of the year, I thought would be in the top. Now, I'm a Laker fan now, so I know my Lakers are 4. I know y'all gonna say, man, I thought you weren't gonna name but the top 3. Yeah, but I'm gonna put my Lakers in there, so just be quiet. The Lakers are 4 at 27-25. I got the Clippers coming out of there. Clippers are the Suns, so I'm going with the Clippers.
Yeah, again, Lakers are known for making those late trades, you know, and they know how to go in and get a few pieces that helps put them over the top. And then with the fact that you got 10 teams in the playoffs, you know, that's also makes them dangerous. They don't have to be a 1 seed, 2 seed, you know.
To get to the championship.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't have to. And then if they get past that first and that second, then that experience and that talent come to the level. Okay, then we got in the Southwest, we got New Orleans, Dallas, and the Rockets. I'm going to take Dallas over New Orleans.
Definitely taking Dallas.
What do you think New Orleans is missing?
I think New Orleans is missing again a veteran, a true veteran who, and now you need multiple pieces. Like you see, you got AD and LeBron, and you still got all these other pieces. You still got Steph and Clay, and you got, I mean, look at Denver. I mean, you got multiple pieces. They still got young pieces that haven't quite turned the corner. If you still got your young superstar, Zion Williamson, who still hasn't figured out his eating habits, nutrition habits, how to even be a pro to stay on the court, that's an issue. And so that you can't build around that. CJ McCollum came over, but you can't build around that. CJ, even though he didn't have a lot of help other than Dame Lillard in Portland, but at least he had another guy he could count on every night. He don't know who he can count on every night.
Right. Because I was going to say, you said they need another guy. I was going to say they need another veteran with leadership. They actually got one, C.J. McCollum. You made me remember that, C.J.
Multiple
McCollum.
veterans.
That's what they need.
Yes.
They need multiple veterans. C.J. is running and getting the backcourt ready. Maybe those guys that's up in the front court won't listen to nobody unless it's another veteran in the front court.
But C.J. wasn't an alpha. C.J. was a Robin. He wasn't a Batman.
Right.
So Dame Lillard was the Batman.
The Batman.
You need who is their alpha that's carrying the load.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they got the scoring, they got Zion, they got some things. And Dallas can score, but I don't know if Dallas can defend enough to go anywhere. And now in the Northwest, you got OKC, T-Wolves, and Denver. Now, you talking about 3 teams. I called them last, but I'm going to go back with the one I called last. I got Denver. Hey, but anything can happen with those T-Wolves. T-Wolves are on the cusp. Just what you were saying. They needed veterans. See, they got Gobert, and they got
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, and they got the guard that nobody never gives any credit. But every team he goes to, he steadies them. Conley. What do you think about Conley?
I like Mike Conley. I mean, again, Mike Conley Jr. can play. He got paid early, so that takes pressure off of you. So he was able to work on his craft and be a pro. He's a pro's pro. But when I look at the thing is they're hungry because Anthony Edwards is an emerging superstar.
Right.
However, I still don't think they have enough. Like, I think they're hungry. I think they're going to be a tough out.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have enough to go take over the top.
Because I put them right there with OKC.
Yeah, they're tough out.
OKC is young and hungry too.
And once OKC figures it out, they can be the next. All they gotta do is turn that page. And it's hard to get, like we talk about, hard to get across the goal line in football. Red zone is difficult.
Right.
They at that red zone.
Right.
They ready to strike. If they can get across it, they're gonna be tough.
They got the players. They got the coaching. They got the
picks,
depth.
everything.
They got everything.
Draft picks still. They got everything they can add.
So this division right here, Northwest, man, they got 3. If I'm the rest of the West, even though I got the Clippers and the Suns in there, man, you don't want to play any of these 3 teams right here. That might be your last series right here, these 3 teams right here. So, but I got to make a pick. I got the Clippers playing Denver for the West. What you think?
I mean, Clippers playing Denver. I can't go with the Clippers just because they've let us down.
You don't think they'll make it to the championship game?
I like their team, but for one, they're very injury prone. Okay. Somebody between Kawhi Leonard, between Paul George, and now James Harden, somebody in that is not going, in my opinion, make it to the Western Conference Finals healthy. Okay. And so I still think the Lakers, I still think Phoenix, they got a great shot, and I still don't never count out Golden State because as they start to figure it out over the second part, they got championship pedigree, and you cannot make up for scoring and shooting.
No. So I got the Denver and the Clippers, and I got Denver winning, going back again.
Yeah, I don't dispute that. Big Honey and the team they got, they have all of it. They got guard play, they got big man play, they got stretch the floor, they got defense, they got confidence.
I got the Bucks against New York. Philadelphia was going to be in the mix, but with Embiid gone, that's the end of the story for me.
Yeah, so I got Bucks, but I don't got the Knicks. The Knicks, in my opinion.
No. I got the Bucks. Did I say the Knicks? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Boston.
Okay, yeah. I'm rolling
and
with
I got
that.
the Bucks beating Boston.
Yeah, I'm rolling with that. I can see that.
Yeah. All right, well, we agree on that. We agree on that. All right, now we got the Super Bowl. We're going to see what type of football intelligence he got right here. So we got Casey in San Francisco. On my show, and nobody let me forget it, last show I picked Kansas City and Baltimore. I picked San Francisco and who did they play? Shaylen, Detroit, to beat them, right? And I said that Baltimore, I wanted in my heart for Lamar to win and go through his first Super Bowl. I say, but it's hard betting against Pat Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs. And I was trying to tell the person, I really didn't say Baltimore. I said because in my heart I wanted Baltimore. He said, no. You can't straddle the fence, my brother. You need to pay up.
Yes.
I said, I was telling y'all that the Chiefs, if I'm a betting man, which I'm not, I would say the Chiefs. But I wanted Lamar, and they would not could be no slack on that. You wanted Lamar to win. I said, yeah, so you picked Baltimore. I said, yeah, I picked them. So, but anyway, Kansas City playing San Francisco. I don't know. It looks like Pat is on a mission. What you think?
Well, all I got to say is, how about those Chiefs?
I'm
from Wichita, Kansas, so it's unlike a lot of these Chiefs fans that come
You're right,
from
they're jumping
all
on
these
because they
different
win it.
players.
Because
I
they
was
win
a
it.
Chiefs fan back when we had Christian Okoye, when we had Jamal Charles, back when we was trying to figure it out with Alex Smith.
Right.
So now that we got Pat Mahomes, I'm coming out rolling. So they keep trying to put Joe Burrow and say he's a better quarterback and Josh Allen, and I'm saying, like, how are we even comparing what these guys are doing? Because Joe Burrow made it to one Super Bowl and didn't win. We got Josh Allen who ain't even made it to a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson was a MVP and now eventual two-time MVP. And like you, I want to see our brothers succeed. So I didn't want to see one of them have to lose. I was hoping that Lamar would have got the chance to beat up on Buffalo or Cincinnati or somebody, and then they meet before whoever win. Because again, had Baltimore won, I would have rooted for those guys to go forward. Because just like you, I want to see Lamar get some success. But Pat Mahomes is undeniable. You can't deny that, man.
Can't deny. Ever since he started his second year, what is NFC Championship game every year?
Yep. AFC Championship every year as a starter. And again, it's like you also got to understand that it's unlike what I just explained about the NBA collective bargaining agreement. You can pay. You don't have no hard cap. NFL has a hard cap, which means that we lost a lot of players from that first Super Bowl team.
Right.
We lost players, even Tyreek Hill, haven't let guys like that go. Yeah. Now to be able to now keep retooling with young guys, with different guys, with people Chris Jones, he should have been got paid. Darius needs to get paid. When you start looking at this, there's a chance that you're going to lose some of them guys. And then for this guy to keep coming back to the AFC Championship game and Super Bowl, come on, man. Hey, man.
Did you think about playing in high school?
I did. I played in high school, but again, I told you I came down here because of the weather in reverse. I got out there in November and December, and we still playing football. And man, you tackle somebody, your hands all numb. Man, coach was riding me one day. I said, Coach, I'm gonna go play over there where it's warm. You know what I'm saying? And then my cousin was the number one overall recruit in the nation. Ended up going to Nebraska back in 1996.
What was his name?
His name was D'Angelo Evans. The kid had, they just did an article like where they are now, and he rushed for over 3,000 yards his sophomore year. He had 151 touchdowns total. He had 50 touchdowns that year as a sophomore. So this kid was the number one overall recruit in the nation. So when you look at Alabama, look at Georgia, Michigan ain't really on that dynasty level like Alabama and Georgia and Clemson was. He was with Nebraska when they were the Alabamas of the college football team.
When Nebraska was the thing.
He was freshman of the year. Matter of fact, James Brown, anybody that knows the Big 12 history, James Brown had a 4th and 1. Remember that play? And then they threw it over the top for the Big 12 championship. Right. My cousin had 3 touchdowns in that game for Nebraska. Wow. So he was really talented.
So what is he doing? Since you said people don't know what
he's an attorney now, and out of Kansas City.
Great.
But again, he's just keeping it 100% real and transparent. Mental health is real. So for him, when he didn't make it to the NFL, and when someone like myself, you got a first cousin who's making it pro and plays 11 years, and in his mind, he kind of probably said, man, I was better than him. I had more accolades, and he did have more accolades.
Right.
As I said, I'm state champion. He was state championship too, but he was a state champion in football, track, and basketball. I was state champion in basketball. But long story short, when he didn't make it, he just kind of was a recluse. So I'm proud of him for continuing to push forward, getting his degree, and continue to help.
Okay, Maurice, I know you got to go. You've already told me that before you got here. You had a certain time you had to get out. Man, I'm having so much fun with you, finding out your knowledge on other than basketball. But we got to get you back again. And look at your wife's and her mom's situation at the restaurant and find out when they'd like for me to come out there and shoot the show. One more time, we have meals for myself and one meal for me. And
I got you.
You're gonna have to probably watch him.
Hey, I got you. I got you. I think it would be awesome. I mean, I'd love for y'all to come out whenever you can. We're gonna celebrate the Super Bowl. We're gonna watch the Chiefs, but we're gonna definitely get Fat Larry Sports Talk out to Esther's Cajun Cafe and Soul Food again. And then you're welcome to come to any of our events, NBRPA events. We got an event that we have going on February the 25th at the Rockets Stadium. That's HBCU night. So all you HBCU alumni, make sure y'all pile into that stadium and watch the game. And we'll be in that PNC room, and it's open to the public. It'll be a great atmosphere. I'm inviting Fat Larry now to come out and be an honored guest of the NBRPA. But again, I thank you for having me here today and blessing me with your conversation, man.
Thank you, Mo, for joining the show, baby, and look forward to seeing you again.
Yes, sir.
I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Womack Development Company and Realtor, and Morgan & Associates Dental. All right, family, we're going to get off into the scores and the games that were played over the past weekend and week for HBCUs. We're going to start off with the Swac quite naturally, and we're going to give you the standings on them, the CIAA, SIAC, and the MEAC. So first, we're going to start with the Swac. This past Monday, the 5th, Prairie View beat UAPB, Grambling beat Alcorn, Southern beat Jackson State. Jackson State has lost about 4 games in a row. They were the preseason pick. Well, no, Texas Southern was, and then Jackson State was second, and then Jackson State came out at the beginning of the season winning a lot of games, and so people had Jackson State picked to possibly win the Swac. But for some reason, now it's still kind of early, they're getting ready to start the second round of games, and so everybody has a chance. 8 teams make the tournament, and as you know, our school, TSU, was the 8th seed last year and won the tournament. So you never know. So, but anyway, once again, Southern beat Jackson State, Alabama State beat FAMU, and Alabama A&M beat Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman had been on a nice roll, and Alabama A&M beat them. It's like in the SWAC, just like the Big 12 and the ACC, you need to win your home games because anybody can beat anybody. These teams are so evenly matched. And then on the women's side, one more time, the women play the same day that the men do. They play the game first. So as I always tell people, if you're in the vicinity of any of these schools that are having a game, please go out and support the schools and your team. UAPB women beat Prairie View. This was Monday. Grambling State beat Alcorn. Jackson State women 9-0. Continue to roll through the SWAC. They beat Southern. FAMU beat Alabama State. And Alabama A&M beat Bethune-Cookman. So this Saturday, the games will be past Saturday, UAPB beat Mississippi Valley. Grambling beat Jackson State. Alabama A&M beat FAMU. Bethune-Cookman beat Alabama State. And Southern beat Alcorn by a point, 71-70. Now, this Saturday, you're going to have Alabama State play at Grambling. You're going to have TSU play at FAMU. Alcorn is going to play at UAPB. Prairie View is going to be at Bethune-Cookman. Alabama A&M is going to be at Southern. And Jackson State is going to be at Mississippi Valley. Now, what happens is the schools play on Saturday and Monday. And so the Alabama schools will come in and do a flip-flop as Texas Southern and Prairie View does. On Monday, TSU will be at Bethune-Cookman. They play at FAMU Saturday and Bethune-Cookman on Monday. So Prairie View will play at FAMU Monday. Jackson State at UAPB, Alcorn is at Valley. Those schools generally travel together and flip-flop. Alabama A&M is going to be at Grambling State, a big game. And Alabama State is going to be at Southern, another big game. Now the standings read this way. Southern University is 7-2. This is the men's. Grambling State is 7-2. Alabama State is 6-3. TSU is 6-3. At one while we was 1-3. We're now 6-3. I think the team is starting to gel, and the players are realizing their places on the team and what they need to do. Our big guys are turning into shape on protecting the rim, and the shooting is picked up. So TSU is in a good mode. It's going to be a big game this Saturday, where TSU is going to be playing at FAMU. We need that one to keep the momentum going. Then we got standings. TSU 6-3. UAPB is 5-4. Bethune-Cookman is 5-4. Prairie View is 4-5. Jackson State is 4-5. Alcorn is 4-5. Alabama A&M is 4-5. FAMU 2-7, and Valley is 0-9. Anywhere from the 9th, the 10th place team, all the way up to the number 1 team is right in the mix. Because they're 4-5, but they're only 3 games out of the win division, the win column, and 2 out of the loss division. So Southern and Grambling State are only 7-2. So it's nip and tuck, and I'd like to try to promote one more time. If you're close to one of these games, there's going to be some barn burners this Saturday and Monday. Now the women, Jackson State is 9-0, as I said. UAPB is 7-2. Grambling is 6-3. Alabama A&M is 5-4. PV is 5-4. Southern is 5-4. Bethune-Cookman is 4-5. FAMU is 4-5. Texas Southern is 3-6. Should be 4-5 because we've had a game that we definitely gave away. Alcorn 2-7. Valley is 1-8. And Alabama State is 3-6. Now, on baseball, yes, it's almost baseball season, family, which is what I played at Texas Southern University. I wish that me and some of the other ex-players, we always talk about how the teams now in HBCU get to travel to these nice D1 schools like the University of Texas, Texas A&M, University of Houston, where they got these nice stadiums that sit 5,000 to 7,000 people. You know, we basically were playing in front of 200 or 300 people maybe. But it's not a down thing on how we played, because we still had guys played in HBCU baseball, which people don't understand. I played baseball when black kids played baseball. So you had great athletes playing baseball. There were a lot of number 1 people, draft choices out of Swac at that time. We had 2 guys go to the league that when I played. From Texas Southern. And I never forget when I played at Southern, they had 2 number 1 draft choices coming out that year. So baseball is a good game. And so Baseball, the Cactus Jack Classic, is going to be played at Minute Maid. And one more time, this is what me and a few of the other guys told me, man, can you imagine us playing in a professional baseball stadium? We really would have loved it. But anyway, in the Cactus Jack Classic in February next weekend, 17th and through the 19th, you got TSU playing, actually it's February the 16th through the 18th. TSU is playing Jackson State on the 16th. Then they're playing Prairie View on the 17th. Then they're playing Southern on the 18th. So these schools will switch out playing each other over a 3-day period of time. So that's baseball. Now moving on to SWAC football, FAMU has finally named their coach. As you know, my last show, we had our new coach on, Coach Dishman. FAMU has named